What's up guys, it's Minx, and in today's video we're going to start working on the designer GUI. So in the last one we started getting ourselves set up to uh, actually like load into like a designer and start, oops, so I goofed something up here, let's see. Oh, let me fix this up here. There we go. In the last video, we got ourselves set up to start creating levels, and we kind of come in here and we got like I know we have like a test level loaded here for now, which is fine. In fact, we'll probably have like a template level that just kind of starts when we do it, so that way it's fine anyway. And we're definitely gonna start adding like a background or something, because honestly, this whole like thing back here is kind of ridiculous. Um, but with that said, let's go ahead and hop into this one. So in this one, we're gonna start adding the menu, and I went ahead and started adding it. I'm like, wait a second, we moved the camera, but the GUI doesn't move. So along with it, and when tested out, it's like, okay, yeah. So we're gonna create our test menu, or not our test menu, our designer menu, like our actual designer menu. We're gonna start writing that today, and we're gonna see that it doesn't move with the screen. So we have to fix that after we um, essentially put it on the screen. So I think I may actually have some goofed up stuff here. So yeah, I didn't get rid of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and add these things right now. We're not going to do anything with them yet, but we might as well add them now. So on the IGUI, I hate adding stuff to our interfaces after we do it, but I didn't think this was going to matter. I didn't realize that it makes sense, but I didn't realize it at the time. So we have a rectangle and we have a position. We need a stored position that says, "Hey, where am I on screen?" Because we have a second position that says this is the real world position. So we have the cameras, just like the player using its position to determine offset of the camera, like where to move the camera or to follow the player. We have an on-screen position and we have a real world position, or a game world position, I guess you could say. In this case, our game world position is where the rect is. Yeah, I guess that's not really story. Yeah, I guess it is where the rect is. The rect gets drawn in the game world position, but our screen position is what doesn't. Is what we're not going to be changing if it's a GUI element unless we really want to, because the what this is we say. Well, should I bring out paint again? Oops, paint. We have our camera, and then it moves, and then we have a thing here that says, "Hey, my position is 100 or 10, we'll say 10 10 because it's easier to write. My position's 10 10. Camera moves to over here, and then, the block is still over here. It doesn't move. So we need to, same thing in the player, we need to get its offset. So we need to say boop, boop here, and then it moves over here. We need to do boop, boop to get the 10 10 here. So it's same thing, same principle. And the way we do that is we store a screen position. Now, what is screen position? What is this going to point to? Because we don't have this variable on the GUI element. So if we go to button, we're already doing a position. So for example, when the menu starts, or when our thing starts, we start at 0, 0. We haven't moved yet. That's our space position. So we got position equals position. So we can say public vector 2 screen position, which is our IGUI screen position. We don't need to specify that's IGUI. It might be a good idea to, since everything else is. We don't need to make it public now that we've specified that it's part of the IGUI. Then we get position, and then we set, same thing with the position, set position equals value. And value is what we set it to. So when we say, I think I've done the same thing for rect, we don't actually use this. So we can no, we do use this. We need to do this for my rect as well. So change your IGUI.rect and IGUI.screen position to these things on the button. And the way that this works is now we can update the rectangle based on the camera position outside of the button, because the button doesn't need to know that. And then, because the button's just going to be drawing wherever it's told to be drawn, which is where the rectangle is. So then the screen position is just our position. So we don't mess with position, we only mess with the rectangle. So we have two sets of values, one for screen and one for world, I guess you could say. So I guess like a local and a global, for example, like when we do, like if you were to work with Unreal Engine or Unity, you have your rotation around the parent or whatever and position around the parent, and then you have your actual global real world position. So let's go ahead, and now that we've done that, let's skip back into where I kind of wanted to start. And we can set the setters for this. They could be the same thing. So like is hovered equals value. It's the same thing. So value is, it's like we say it's equal to something. What it's equal to is the value of what we're setting it equal to. We don't need to do anything else with this. I figure we might as well get these so I don't accidentally start tossing exceptions later. But okay, so now we've done this, let's hop into game menus. This is where we're writing all our menus. So we can hop out of main menu. We can hop out of the whole class, not the constructor, play menu. And we'll just follow the same thing, internal class. I'll say level designer. I'll say actually no, designer menu. And it'll inherit from menu as always. And we'll show potential fixes. We want to generate a constructor. So we're not doing anything like crazy with this one. We're actually going to change the behavior menu later. So we're going to change how hover is calculated because we'll see that it gets calculated weird. And then we're going to update some behavior inside the draw to tell it to draw based on the camera's position rather just in general. So for this one, the designer menu, we don't have a lot going on here if I'm not mistaken here. So of course we're going to do, because I don't feel like implementing it the quote unquote correct way. We'll say game window, game, this dot game equals game. That's fine. I don't think we use it on this one, at least not yet. So we're going to copy some stuff from play menu actually. I shouldn't have copied this. Let's just copy this first button. Actually, yeah, it's fine. We'll just get rid of that stuff. So this is a button. So this is fine. I want to get rid of the green stuff. So these two things, and I'm just going to leave them to default for now. We can change that later if we need to. So color.white, text font, this is good. And we need to give it an event. And we're going to say private void spawn object. And it's not going to take parameters. I'm not exactly sure how to toss a parameter in this. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if we're going to do that or just make separate individual methods for each of them or something like that or some goofy way. So we got spawn object. And then that's pretty much it. We're going to say, I'm just going to call this blue. I'm just going to type blue here. And that's fine. We're going to change the location. So by default, we're just going to have this spawn at 100, 100 for now. Because it's really not going to end up being center anyway. Because it's going to be offset, as we're not, depending on how we want to do this. And we're probably, I didn't do anything with it yet, but I'm going to add a border and we're going to add labels. That's probably going to be the next video because when we start doing all this GUI stuff for the designer, we're going to need it. So, okay, so it's going to spawn at 100, 100. We'll make it a 100 by 100 block. And that's pretty much it for this. And we'll give it a console.writeLine. You have tried to spawn an object. All right. So now when we create a level, we want to just go ahead and say new designer menu. And it'll be from our game, this.game. So now theoretically, we should be able to do that. And then it'll actually allow our camera to be moved around if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it spawned a little off center. It looks like it. So we can already see some weird behavior. So the rectangle that we can collide with is in the top left. The actual position is down here. And if we move, it's a button here. And we can see that's actually interesting. We're clicking in the top left and it's moving with our thing. That's already kind of weird behavior. So this is already really awkward. So I'm not actually sure why it drew so far off. Everything else is drawing in the correct place, but that's okay. I know why it is, and we can fix it. So I think it has something to do with the auto cam. Anyway, so let's go to menu and add our behavior. So to fix this behavior, we want to update update mouse hover. I didn't mess this up, right? No, this is still what it used to be. So, what do we need to do? So, similar to the player, if we go over to, I think it's actually in the player code where we update it. Yeah. Player screen position equals game.camera plus this.position. Now, I did try that. That was my first instinct was, okay, just do the same thing we did with player. That's actually wrong, and I'm not sure why it's wrong. To be honest, I haven't like tried to do the math to like figure it out manually, but we actually gonna end up doing like uh this dot position minus camera. So it's kind of goofy. But okay. So in the menu here, what we want to do for draw is I'm going to make it, we don't actually need to make the temp rectangle. What we can say is we want to do this before the mouse hover happens. The reason for that is if we're moving, it's going to kind of be jittery in terms of how it gets calculated. We want to update the rectangle prior, so it's checking the correct rectangle. So we're going to say lm.rect, and I think we can just set the rect, which is why we gave it a getter and a setter, equals new rectangle, and we want to say the integer of lm.screenPosition.x minus this.game.camera.x, and then same thing for the y. So the int of, and we can actually just copy and paste this over and change the x's to y's here. Y and y. And then if I'm not mistaken, we just use the lm.rect.width and lm.rect.height if autofilled it. Okay. So now that we've done this, it should just give us the correct rectangle. Now we have to also really quickly fix our button. So the button is telling itself to draw a rectangle at what it thinks is correct, and we can get rid of this. This will tell GUI to update to the screen position. Now, we may have to, now, okay, well, a correction. This is a menu as opposed to a GUI element that we may toss in the world at some point. For example, I know we're not doing an RPG, but if we have like a sign or something that gives text or something that pops up at a GUI for readability, this wouldn't impact that as long as we don't add it to a menu. I think having it on a menu makes sense for all the elements because we want them to be at this position on the menu. Anyway, let's go ahead and start and test it out. Everything else should still be in the correct spot. This shouldn't impact these because our position is still 0, 0 right now. Create. Now, button's in the correct spot. However, we can't like interact with it. So we got to fix that. And the thing is, its rectangle is off in the void somewhere. And since it is moving with us, I have no idea where it is, to be honest. But we can see what it's doing here. It's giving the original mouse location. So the rectangle has the correct information. We've updated the rectangle. We don't need that. Our mouse location is world mouse location. It's not screen mouse location. So we need to check the screen mouse location. Now I was thinking there could be two ways to do this. We could define a screen mouse location position in the game window, or we could just say, hey, this is our generic is mouse over element thing, and we could just use the logic here to define that. So I think we're going to do that. So we need to do a similar thing where we say mouse location.x minus game.camera.x and paste that in here. And then we'll actually just do the same thing for y, and then we'll do this and then change this to y. And then we'll do the same thing for y. There we go. And that should give us the correct information if I'm not mistaken. So again, we're in the 0, 0, so this doesn't impact this menu, and that already tells me that this is going to work. And here we go. So now if we're moving, it's constantly saying we're hovering, and we can click this while hovering. So that fixes that issue for us. That was kind of the main focus of today because this was bugging the heck out of me. I do see, so if you'll notice, when we like move around, our GUI kind of like our text kind of jitters, and so does the thing here. There's really not much we can do about that. This is kind of some limitations that, that we kind of come with by going down this path. And I'm not sure if there's like a way that we can really make that go away. I'll definitely look at for it, but honestly, we're probably out of luck here. It's going to be a little jittery, which I'm okay with. I think it's fine for the purposes of this. We'll keep going. So that's pretty much it for that issue. Was there anything else that we needed to do? Let me double check. I don't want to miss anything because in this one, I don't intend on like doing the spawning of the object and start snapping or anything. I just wanted to get that issue fixed up. Just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. Nope. Okay, so everything else is good. And the button update is just that. Just want to make sure we don't miss anything so you guys aren't behind from what my actual code is here. Just fill it, and that handles it. Okay, cool. So next video we'll probably do like a sort of a smaller one. Well, this one's already a smaller one because I kind of knew what I was doing. We're probably going to add some more GUI elements so we can sort of make like a little border down here, then the different options. And then in the next video after that, we are going to start like dragging objects into the world. That'll be the, so 2 videos down the line. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.